All right, last task of the day. We're gonna go move some manure solids for the cows to have some nice fresh bedding tomorrow morning. Didn't know that I had to do this, but apparently it was on my list of things I didn't know about to do today. So I'm gonna go show you guys how that works over there while we're in the process. Had a few questions about it, just never got around to making a video on it because I never really made my way back here. So now you guys get a little lowdown here as we pull up to the manure solids room here. So we built this shed 2 years ago, I think it's 2 years ago now, just for composting these manure solids. We stockpile it in these bays. We kind of keep it separate by the week, so this is this week's manure plus Sunday, it's Tuesday today. And then that's last week's manure, that's the stuff we're bedding with, and then that end bay right there is the stuff we're gonna bed with tomorrow morning. So we'll mix lime in that tomorrow morning, roughly a bucket, not a full bucket, but a decent sized scoop. We'll mix ag lime in there with it to get the pH balances better so that bacteria can't grow as well. So line it up with this door right now. We're gonna have to open this door up actually so that we can get the manure out. So now the fun begins. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna get ourselves a scoop of this good stuff. And we're gonna back out. And we're gonna dump it. And we're gonna go back in. And scoop it. And we're just gonna keep doing this until we got it all in the room. Make ourselves a nice pile. So it'll take a few scoops. It doesn't take too long. It's probably like a 10-minute job actually moving this manure. We do potentially have a machine coming, hopefully this week, that is going to make this a little bit faster. But we've been doing it this way for as long. Actually, it was way more complicated before. It was quite the ordeal to move this because we used to have an apron chain spreader that we loaded this manure on, took like 2 loads of manure, took it over to our commodity shed, and that's where we were stockpiling it, and then we would haul 2 loads back to bed with, and then we were bedding out of the bunker. That was not a good time. I'm very glad that we made this shed, but the reason we kind of did it that way was so we could kind of do a trial run, and then we kind of learn how this was all going to work before we went all in building this very expensive building to store shit in. So this has been working really well for us, especially after we started composting. It brings the moisture down a little bit through the heating phase, and then along with the heating it's killing bacteria. Lowering the pH does a big number on bacteria, I think, and it also helps dry it out as well. Helps keep the stalls a little bit drier. I will say that with the manure solids, it is a little bit more prone to be slippery in the stalls and in the barn, but you're also saving a lot of money not purchasing all that sand. So that is a huge benefit. So as far as mastitis goes with this, I'm not sure what anybody would consider a lot of mastitis. We probably, if you averaged out all of our cases, and they do come in spurs due to weather changes, if it's a little bit more damp outside, more rainy, springtime warm-ups like we have right now where everything's kind of thawing out and just air is a lot more damp, you tend to see more mastitis cases. Nobody's treated right now at the moment though, until probably tomorrow morning now that I said that. But I'd say we probably have maybe a case or two a week on average, maybe a case a week. So, and we do treat mastitis pretty generously. We don't waste any time treating it. So somebody's flagged for mastitis and it you got just even a chunk or two chunks in their quarter that you strip out, we're probably going to treat it. So that can kind of change your perspective on how bad it is too, because we're more prone to treat some of those less sick animals as well. So we're just about done. I think there's going to be probably 2 more scoops in there, and then we can go look at the machine itself. I don't think it's making any right now. Probably won't make any until later on tonight, but we're going to go ahead and scoop the rest of this out, hopefully. Got a little bit along this edge here. I don't normally do this, so I probably don't do as good of a job as what my father does. He's the one that kind of runs the bedding department here. So I'm gonna get this scooped up here, get it looking pretty decent. And then we're going to go ahead and dump it. And we should be good. So we just set this down here and I'll grab you guys. So here's our green manure solids. If you take it, it's not quite wet enough to be able to ball it up. You get a little bit of balling, but it does stick to your hands. So envision my hand as an udder. It's a little bit sticky. So then we're gonna go over here. This is the stuff that's been composting for roughly a week, and my hands are probably already a little wet, so maybe a little more stuck than what normally would, but you can tell it's a lot drier here. You can even dig down in here and it's heating in there. You can see it steaming, and that's killing bacteria. And this stuff is the same as that and is ready to bed once we put lime in it. So here's our lime bay. It's just ag line. It's the same thing as you would spread on fields, but it's actually dry and comes out of a silo. But this stuff is quite literally like water. If water was not wet, this is what it would be, because it's like soup. Really dry stuff. So now see if we can go up a separator and I can kind of just show you it. So here's our separator. It's a fan separator. The manure comes up this pipe, and then if it has too much pressure, it flows back that way. But otherwise, it is going to go into here. There's a corkscrew that keeps screwing, and then a bunch of really fine screens. The screen is like probably that big of a hole that the dry manure actually, or what the water actually flows out of, and then it keeps pushing the manure solids to the end. This thing runs automatically, so essentially if it feels more pressure, then it's gonna let off the weights or apply the weights more to make the product drier according to your wants or needs. But it'll just keep running it out. These bars hold the manure back, and then it keeps squeezing all the liquid out, and then it falls down. So pretty simple little machine here, but it's pretty cost effective and it's recyclable. So if you want to save the environment, you need one of these. It probably saves us money. Probably does. So here's the manure salad in the barn. Cows really seem to enjoy it. I don't know how to compare it to sand, but I think as far as comfortability, it's probably pretty comparable. We do try to groom the stalls once a week with kind of like a rototiller kind of deal that goes on the skid steer, but sometimes we get behind on it. If you don't stay ahead of it, and it's the same with sand and everything else, probably gonna end up with these humps and these ridges just because the animals seem to work it. So in the barn we got a lot of diversity. We got some mattresses. The manure solids don't stay on the mattresses the best, and we tend to completely clean the mattresses off when we go through and clean pens, and then we pull more manure solids on it. On here, this is just concrete and bedding. We're kind of switching over to that as we've been tearing mattresses out. Had some trials like that side, converting these to deep beds. We put a little wall up, and you can see that here with these 4x4s too, just to make them a little bit deeper so that it doesn't fall off. You can see that these stalls, they kind of angle upwards a little bit, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Cows tend to lay facing uphill anyways, so it's kind of like laying on a hill, I suppose. So whenever you walk through the barn, majority of the cows are going to be laying down. Obviously, as I walk through here, some of the cows are just starting to get up just because I'm walking through, but they spend a lot of time laying down. Everybody's chewing their cuds, super comfy. So yeah, looking at it in here, we do top dress hydrated lime on top of it as well, just an additional bacteria buffer. We just take that, throw it out by hand with a cup and pail. That's over here. We just, on the end of each pen, we just keep bags of lime, fill up a 5-gallon pail, and then walk along and spread it out. So as we spread that out, we normally run a foot bath or something, so we'll go and spread that out and chase the cows through the foot bath, and works out pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in the barn. We do keep our somatic cell, it's around 150 is probably an average for us, so probably a little bit higher than what a sand barn would be, but 150 is pretty good somatic cell. Definitely heard of people having higher somatic cells and a lot supposedly cleaner bedding conditions. So yeah, that kind of, if you have any questions about it, just hit it in the comments and be sure to answer them. But it's pretty much the down low here. So that's our manure solids. Quite honestly, I don't know if this is going to be in the video I made today or if it's going to be in a separate video. So this might not make sense how the video started, but I don't know. We'll see how we fix it. But if this is its own video, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's a little bit of an educational one for you guys. I know that some people are asking about it, so I want to touch base on it. So hope you guys learned something. Maybe it helped you decide if you want to put this in. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.